Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. If you are watching this series, you are probably already at least a little familiar with the incredible events that took place on October 13th, 1917 in Fatima, Portugal. How did this happen? Why was Fatima, Portugal chosen to be the location of such an incredible event? Central to this miracle were the three Fatima seers, Lucia, Francesco, and Jacinta. Their stories have been told many times and heard by millions of believers. However, their stories are only a part of this incredible event. There were thousands of secret witnesses to the Fatima miracle, each of whose eyewitness reports dispel some of the mysteries behind this miracle. Come with me now as we explore this great mystery and meet the secret witnesses of Fatima. We've come to you today with the recounting of events from witnesses who saw the miracle of the sun from a distance and who were interviewed in the early 1960s by John Haffert, the author of the book that much of this series is based on. Meet Father Lourenco, a mere schoolboy at the time of the miracle. Lourenco was with his brother as well as some other children in the village of Albertel when he bore witness to the incredible miracle of the sun from a distance of 9 miles. They all thought it was the end of the world. Lourenco tells us, "I feel incapable of describing what I saw. I looked fixedly at the sun, which seemed pale and did not hurt my eyes. Looking like a ball of snow revolving on itself, it suddenly seemed to come down in a zigzag, menacing the earth. Terrified, I ran and hid among the people who were weeping and expecting the end of the world at any moment. It was a crowd which had gathered outside our local village school, and we had all left class and ran into the streets because of the cries and surprised shouts of men and women who were in the street in front of the school when the miracle began. There was an unbeliever there who had spent the morning mocking the simpletons who had gone off to Fatima just to see an ordinary girl. He now seemed paralyzed. His eyes fixed on the sun, he began to tremble from head to foot, and lifting up his arms, fell on his knees in the mud, crying out to God. But meanwhile, the people continued to cry out and to weep, asking God to pardon their sins. We all ran to the 2 chapels in the village, which were soon filled to overflowing. During these long moments of the solar prodigy, objects around us turned all colors of the rainbow. When the people realized that the danger was over, there was an explosion of joy." Now, I'm going to pause for just a second because something just occurred to me. You're watching this video because you love hearing miraculous stories about Our Lady's love. But what about when you're away from your phone and computer or whatever screen you're watching this on? What about when you want to get away from the internet, but you still want to learn about our Lord and Our Lady? Well, let me introduce you to Crusade Magazine. Crusade Magazine is a beautiful, fully colored, fully Catholic magazine filled with stories about the saints, cutting edge and current Catholic news, prayer suggestions, and so much more. We at American Eats Fatima designed Crusade Magazine to be a way that you to be inspired, informed, and spiritually fulfilled, especially when you want to get away from your electronics. When you sign up to become one of our Child of Mary members, you automatically receive a Crusade Magazine subscription as one of your gifts. So if you want pages and pages of Catholic content at your fingertips, well, click the link in the description down below to become a Child of Mary and have Crusade Magazine delivered straight to your door. Okay, back to our story. In another retelling of the events, we meet Mr. Albino Barrios, a successful building contractor who was at the time a child in a village near Mindel, about 8 miles from Fatima. Though only 12 years old at the time, he remembers the miracle as though it had happened yesterday.
What were you doing that day?
I was watching sheep, as was my daily task. And suddenly there in the direction of Fatima, I saw the sun fall from the sky. I thought it was the end of the world.
Was it raining at the time? Were your clothes dry afterwards?
I was so distracted that I remember nothing but the falling sun. I cannot even remember whether I took the sheep home, whether I ran or what I did.
And the last witness we have the pleasure of hearing from today is Mrs. Gael Hermina Lopez de Silva. Mrs. de Silva had seen the crowds passing through the area in great numbers.
Did you travel to Fatima to see the miracle?
I could not go because my husband was an unbeliever. I was looking toward the mountain at noon when suddenly I saw a great red flash in the sky. I called 2 men who were working for us, and they, of course, saw it too.
Do you know of anyone else who saw the miracle?
One of my relatives, Mr. Luis Lopez from Arrabalde de Santa Margarita, went to Fatima and told us afterwards that although he had taken every precaution to avoid the rain, he was soaked through from his feet to his waist. But as the sun came down from the sky, he noticed to his astonishment that he was completely dry. And my former neighbor, Donna Nazare Ben Jairo, when she came back from Fatima that day, told me that when she had seen the sun coming down like a spinning wheel, she was so frightened that she fell to her knees, reciting the act of contrition, believing it to be indeed the end of the world.
The phenomenon was not completely visible in Liaria, which was only 16 miles away. Perhaps because of the contour of the land, Fatima is in the midst of Serra Ayada mountains. And although the mountain itself is about 3,000 feet high, even today one has to actually reach the very top of the mountain within a range of 1 mile to see the tower of the basilica, which is at least 65 feet above the average level of the Cova. Yet on the sea level, a tower 65 feet high can be seen from a distance of 14 miles, because only the curvature of the Earth, given adequate illumination and clear atmosphere, limits the range of visibility. But at Fatima, both the angle of the mountain over which the phenomenon occurred and the contour of surrounding mountains limit visibility. Just how high the phenomenon was above the mountain is impossible to determine. There was a factor on this day far more limiting than distance. It had been raining over the entire area. Everything considered, the startling brilliance of the phenomenon seen over such a great area and with such fearful effect upon all who witnessed it must have been something akin to the effect of an atomic explosion. Scientists, historians, and laymen alike have all tried and failed to explain away what was witnessed that day by over 100,000 people. In an effort to debunk the events of October 13, 1917, many theories, hypotheses, and speculations have arisen around the subject. But nothing has ever made it past just that, theory and speculation. And on to concrete scientific proof. I invite you to join me next week as we review more stories from those who saw it firsthand and listen to their testimonies about that single moment that altered the trajectory of their lives forever. Thanks for watching. To save souls, there needs to be more Fatima-focused content on YouTube. If you agree and you want to help me make more videos, please join our special Child of Mary group. As a Child of Mary, you'll get a beautiful Fatima pin, plus inspiring reports on America Needs Fatima work to save souls. Click the link in the description below to learn more and become a Child of Mary. God love you.